Okay, guys, we're back with a fan favorite, Shane Mowery from Bone Maniacs. There exists a threat, from anti-hunting groups to politicians trying to give our land away, and we won't stand for it. Those vast western landscapes provide the space for our wildlife to thrive, and a place for hunters and anglers to fuel the fire that sparks their soul. In this show, we share our love of hunting, fishing, and conservation. Here, we provide the foundation to meet these threats through passion and the grit of the American outdoorsman. Welcome to the Western Huntsman Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Western Huntsman Podcast. This is Jim Huntsman, your host, and I'm coming at you from the Broken Tine studio right here in Clark Fork, Idaho. I am going to bring on somebody who's been on the show before, and actually it was one of the shows we did where, opinions can vary, and things got a little saucy, and I hope you're ready for it. Shane, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing really well, man. How you doing, Jim?
Hey, pretty good, man. I'm really excited to talk to you again. I think we should probably just set this conversation up with folks. So Shane is down in Colorado you're on a pronghorn hunt. Is that what you're doing? Hunting antelope?
Yeah. So on a pronghorn hunt. Yep.
Yeah.
Down here with my son. So we're getting geared up to chase these old clever speed goats.
The speed goats, man. I'm jealous. I haven't chased a speed goat in I don't know how long, so that's going to be a good time. You doing it with a bow?
With a bow, yeah. I'm doing it actually with the recurve. So
sweet.
It's one of my favorite animals to hunt.
Good. Important question. You drinking whiskey tonight, or am I on my own?
No, I'm having milk and cookies.
Milk and cookies? Holy cow, man.
Well, that's what happens when you're hosting a 9-year-old.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. I love it. So I guess I'm flying solo tonight. It's a Sunday night. I usually don't even record on Sunday nights. But we're doing this one special because I'm gonna release it super quick, and you guys will find out why here soon. But So guys, Shane Mowery, he's with Bone Maniacs. If you're not following him on Instagram, it's I believe like at Bone_Maniacs or something like that. Let me look.
That is it. Yep.
Is that it?
Bone_Maniacs.
And I still can't believe. Dude, you have a shitload of followers on there. That's crazy. But TV and podcast host, and he is the original maniac.
That's what they say.
Did I lose you there? I might have lost you there for a minute.
No.
That's what I was trying to get at in the beginning, guys, is because Shane is at hunting camp right now as we're recording, so there's a bit of a delay, but we've got some important things to talk about tonight. So, Shane, let's kick this off. You've already been on the show, so it doesn't need to be like super in depth, but just tell everybody real quick what Bone Maniacs is, and we'll go from there.
Oh man, Bone Maniacs is just sharing the passion that I have, for encouraging my family, to get outdoors, to hunt, and teach them, pretty much the skill set that they need with the bow and arrow to take an animal. So
yeah,
that's what we do, man. We punch tags.
You do punch tags, man. I can't believe that bear you got with that recurve. That was a great bear.
That was a solid bear. He ended up scoring, I don't know, over 19 some change, closer to 20. I can't remember exact what it was.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was a Pope and Young bear, but I'm not going to get him entered. I'm done with that nonsense.
Yeah, and what was super interesting is you posted something about the bear hunt on like Instagram or whatever, and this is what I love about you, man. It didn't show the bear. But I can't remember if it was like a bloody arrow or a blood trail or something, or maybe it was just it might have been, you know what, I think it was meat bags. I think he posted meat bags or something. And anyway, somebody
the meat bags in a tree.
Yeah. And somebody got on there and they're like, well, where's the picture of the bear? And your response was something along the lines of, is it, the size of the bear all you care about? Because there's a lot more to it than that. And what was cool about that is, like, that's something I would say, because the bear I shot was just, it was not a big bear. It was, I didn't even attempt to score it. In fact, my freaking puppy got a hold of the bear skull as I was doing all the, boiling it out and all that kind of stuff. Puppy grabs my bear skull, runs off with it, splits the jaw, and broke the eye guards around the top part of it. Just totally jacked it up. So I salvaged what I could. And it's frustrating because it was my first bear, Anyways, point being is,
oh man,
you were saying that. It's a funny story. My puppy ate my homework, which is exactly what happened. But it was just like, it was cool because you really could have been showing off that bear, but instead you were showing the meat and the process of everything that happened. And getting a bear with a recurve is just flat out cool anyway. And then lo and behold, the next, a few days later, you posted the size of the bear, and I was like, geez, man, Shane, like, you're just a legit hunter, dude.
I appreciate that, Jim. Well, there's a lot of controversy out there today, and a lot of the NPOs and things like that. I'm over supporting them. They claim that they're for hunters, and they claim they're for conservation, and the only thing they claim is, or only thing that they actually execute in their claims is their ability to exhale hot air. That's kind of how I feel about them anymore.
There's a lot.
So
I
mean,
agree.
that's how it is. I mean,
there's a few good ones left, but I mean,
well, when you get those guys out there to say, well, I didn't kill anything because it wasn't big enough. Well, I mean, really, is your head that goddamn big that you can't scratch your own ears?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like,
Go ahead. I cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to say, it bothers me that as hunters, and I think we may have touched base on this before, is that it bothers me a lot that hunters are so divided. The unity is divided as much as this nation is. As far as the hunting division is, whether you hunt with a trap or I don't. What's that?
I said it shouldn't be too, because, and I want to get back to your point, because you were just about to make a really good point. And again, guys, I can't emphasize enough, we do have quite the delay, so bear with us on that. We're going to do the best we can, and I'll go through and edit this and try to make it sound better. But Shane's one of those dudes that, like, a lot of times I just say, you know what, let's record another night, but not with Shane, because I really want to pick his brain tonight. But it shouldn't be divided. That's the difference. Is like when you talk about how hunters are divided as much as the country is politically, hunters don't have as deep of a dividing gap. I mean, we're talking about, people choosing a method of take, a recurve versus a 300 Win Mag, or even a 300 Win Mag versus a 6.5 Creedmoor, or, it doesn't matter. That divide is not as great as it is between somebody who, maybe somebody on one side that values a small government and a government that's not in your face, versus somebody who's fucking woke as all get out and wants to control everything you say and do so that nobody is offended, right? And so that gap doesn't exist in the hunting space.
100%.
And so, like, why are we so divided? Do you have like a take on that?
Oh, hell yeah! I mean, because you hear it all the time, and I make a valid point, and I don't get too much argument, because it doesn't matter. I'll hunt with any weapon, and I do, and I'll take an animal, and it just doesn't matter. And I'm the type of guy, and most that know me will say, if you tell me no, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or you tell me I can't do it, it's going to happen. And it's going to happen quick. So
yeah, for sure.
It's just one of those things.
It is one of those things.
I have no idea.
I don't either, but I think
but
what I've always thought about with that, Shane, is like when it comes to hunting, there's always this big ego factor, and we all want to be like the latest, greatest, best hunter out there, kind of thing, and we, especially when we're young and in our 20s, sometimes that just doesn't go away, but there's this huge ego factor, and so if people see other hunters doing something a different way, like they feel this defensiveness to defend the way that they hunt. And I'm like you, man. I don't care if I'm hunting with a bow or a rifle. I play the game that is at hand. So, like, I love hunting elk in September. That's usually with a bow. So I learned how to bow hunt 15 years ago, and that's what I do. And it's just I don't have I'm not a purist. And I don't care if anybody is either, though. Like I feel like you're more committed to bow hunting than I am, and I think that's great, because I know that you don't judge me when I go shoot a deer with a rifle. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I mean I'll shoot one. I'll shoot one with a rifle too. You know, I enjoy them both. But you know, it depends on what tag I have, and it also depends on the animal. If it's an either weapon or any weapon season, if that animal's telling me it needs to die by a rifle, it's going to die by a rifle. You know? So
that's very true, man.
That's just how I work, you know. You know, and it's I mean, and I do, and I mean, I grew up shooting a recurve. I love hunting with a recurve. You know, but I don't fit into the you're talking about the purist, the elitist, the purist, whatever you want to call it. That sit around and talk about killing animals. You know, they sit around and talk about killing animals. I get out and I fucking kill animals. You know, so that's the difference.
That is the difference.
You know, so you know, it's but they shouldn't. Those type of people shouldn't belittle somebody that wants to shoot a crossbow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
there's room.
If you want to use a
us.
crossbow, man, there's more than enough room, and it's like, you know, it doesn't matter. They all kill. It's all going to die the same way, you know. So I mean, one's just as deadly as the other. You know, a well placed shot is takes out anything. You know, so
exactly.
And it doesn't really matter. We always don't have a well placed shot. That's hunting also.
And that doesn't matter if you're hunting with a recurve or if you're hunting with a $5,500 .308 rifle that can shoot a mile out. It doesn't matter, because that's what I've talked about many times, dude. Is like, as hunters, method of take is irrelevant in the sense that we all have the same goal. And our goals, and nobody's ever corrected me on this. Trust me, when I say something wrong, I'll get corrected. People will email or message me or whatever. But nobody's ever corrected me on this. But there are three things that all hunters have in common. We want a freezer full of meat. We want the primal experience. And we want the memory, which is either the trophy on the wall or just something we kind of put in the back of our mind. And that those three things, when you strip out all those things, it doesn't matter if somebody's hunting high fence or public land, bugling elk. Those three things are the same. And we can have opinions as to how that is achieved, but when it boils down to it, we have much bigger problems ahead of us to face than worrying about the method of take or the difference in how we hunt. Because there's a big group of anti-hunters out there that don't want us to do any of it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, and there's, you know, I learned at an early age, and you probably did too. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You know, we're always, and no matter how you do something, there's more than one way to get to the finish line, you know? So, that's the goal, right? You want to get to the finish line.
For sure.
So in a hunter's case, you want to punch that tag, you know. You don't always get to punch that tag, you know, but I mean, it's
especially when you're me.
It's one of those things. Well, you know, I kind of look at it a little differently. I mean, I hear it almost routinely. Man, you just got the life. And I'm like, you know, I put a lot into this because I'm not out here taking selfies. I'm not out here doing this. Like people that do look up to me want me to get an animal, you know? So, I feel like that's my diligence, is that if I'm going out here just, being like the rest of these schmucks that want to get into the industry, that's out here clowning around thinking that, hey man, I'd love to get paid. Well, man, I don't know. If I'd have known now what I'd have known 15 years ago, I probably wouldn't be. I'd still be logging.
Man,
but
yeah. If
logging pays a lot more.
Oh man, yeah, no kidding. It's there. I mean, there's a lot of things that pay a lot more, man. Shit, I mean, I have to even keep it calm tonight because I have to go sit in a bunch of meetings first thing in the morning, and I'm pissed about it. Like, how many times are we going to look at the same graph? What is it, week like 38 or something in the year? And we're going to just go sit in there for 2 hours and discuss how much the graph has grown since last Monday. Like, what the hell? Who wants to do that? I don't know.
No, let's get out there and work. Let's get it done.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I hate it.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's the world we live in.
It is. So I wanna talk about what you're about to embark on with this pronghorn hunt here in a minute. But before we do that, Shane, you're one of the few guests that I've had on the show that I actually got to visit your house. And I did that because for those of you listening, and if anybody's in the Kamiah, Idaho, that Clearwater region of Idaho area, Shane, we're like kindred spirits, man, because we both live basically on bare land. Now you have one up on me because you got your shop done, but Shane is a taxidermist and he's got a bow shop. And he's living on some bare land, just as wild as mine. And I kind of want to get an update from you as to kind of how your homestead's going, how your bare land. What have you guys done since? What was that, like May or June when I was there? I think it was May. I bought a bow from you.
Yeah.
For my daughter, and we've got one more coming up. And so.
That's right.
How are things coming?
You got
to
keep them both happy.
I know, right? Like the one, my younger daughter's pissed.
I bet so. She's like, Dad, come on now.
Yeah, where's my boat?
Like anything, it all reflects down to the economy. I think a lot of people have. It's like, if you're just working class people that didn't move in here from Cali, that has a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
You're being very resourceful of how you spend money. Because hey man, if I'm looking at just like gas and fuel is not worth $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 a gallon, whatever it is, it's not worth it. Just like a tube of four is not worth $14. So, or a sheet of OSB is not worth $80. I'm not going to spend it. I'll live in the damn tent if I have to, and that's just how I feel. So not much has changed. The kids are happy. We have a roof over our head and we're dry and nobody ever goes hungry. So, and we always, share memories and experiencing, what I feel is, what's most important. And, having said that, this land was great until white men docked a fucking boat on it and fucked it all up. So that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth.
This coming from a white man.
Coming from a white man.
Yeah,
I got Cherokee blood in me.
Yeah, supposedly I've got something. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. We're all human, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've got the same struggle, man. Like this $80 USB price, I think it's I know it's coming down. The lumber is coming down, which that's why I haven't built a house yet. Like I am not spending, I'm not blowing $300 a square foot to build a house. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. And
it's not realistic, man.
It's just not like you said. I didn't sell an 800 square foot studio apartment in Sacramento for $1.5 million and come out here and cash out on some bare land. Like this is stuff that I've worked my ass off for a long time to get. And but are your chickens laying eggs?
And you know what?
What's that?
They should be next month. They should be starting to lay next month. But what I was going to say is like your family's happy and you're happy. The amount of stress is probably not there. Like the only thing you have to worry about is like, man, that's a beautiful sunset. I wonder what tomorrow's is going to be. That's how my perspective has been. You know, it really is.
It's a great perspective too. I don't know that between my wife and my kids and all that kind of stuff, I don't know that I've ever seen them all happier. We have a very simple existence right now. You know, we're in a fifth wheel. Right now I'm recording in a 21-foot camping trailer that I call the Broken Town Studio. We've got no big mortgage.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've got our chickens, we've got our garden. We can hunt. You know, this is Idaho, so we have a lot of hunting opportunity. We've got meat in the freezer from it, you know, and it's just, I don't know that we've ever been, you know, we get a little sour when it's like 90 degrees outside, so we jump in my truck and we drive 10 minutes over onto the Montana side. There's this really cool swimming pond, and we hang out there and cook bear brats and burgers and drink a beer and swim. Obviously the kids don't drink a beer, but me and my wife do. And it's a good time. I mean, what else is there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, to me, that's life, you know, because I don't think most people would, they can't, they just can't comprehend, just simplicity in life, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what blows my mind is you see these young kids riding around. It's like, how do you afford a 2020 brand new F-350 6.7 liter diesel, dude? How do you afford that? Because that's a house payment.
Oh man, yeah, like
so,
they're like $100 grand, man. They're like the new F-350s or the Chevy 1-tons or whatever. They're over $100 grand. My F-350 is a 2007, and I love it.
Yeah, well, I mean, these trucks will last a lifetime. We just take care of them. It's like, I don't need a new one. I mean, I'd love to have one, but I'm not going to have a payment. It's just, I mean, who knows what tomorrow's going to be in this, you know, the way the economy is, the way the world is, the way the government is. I mean, who the hell knows, man? It's like, we're in some really interesting times, man. That's just how I see it.
What do you think, like, what makes you the most nervous? Because I agree, man. I mean, I'd love to make a joke about it and be like, what, you don't trust the you know, Biden's America and the future? But because I have things that I'm really on edge about. What makes you the most nervous about the future as, like, sitting in the position we're in now? Well,
I mean, I think any parent would be like, man, what did I bring my kids into? That goes through my head often, and I'm like, man, you know, I'm a 70s kid, you know, and I'm like, man, I feel like my good times as a kid, like, with, you know, they didn't have to worry about bullying in school, you didn't have to worry about hurting somebody's feelings and all this whiny bullshit that you got to go through. It's like, I feel like the good days are gone, and they'll never come back. You know, agree. That's just something, you know, we got to experience that. You and I got to experience that. Our parents got to experience that.
Dude, when I was a kid...
I live in the wrong time zone, dude.
Oh, I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, because when I was a kid, I was taught by my parents and my grandparents and even some of the teachers and stuff at school that there's only one way to deal with a bully. And it wasn't through these dumb... anti-bullying campaigns that they have in the schools and whatever nowadays. There was one way to deal with a bully, and it was to knock him the fuck out. And that's what we did. And I got beat up a couple times trying, but there was one, I remember this one bully, his name was Glade. I don't remember his last name. Well, actually I do, but I won't say it on the podcast here. His name was Glade. And everybody feared him, and he beat my ass twice. And then one time, he started picking on my little brother in this field when we were walking home from school, and that sucker got knocked the fuck out by me. And that was the last time he ever picked on anybody, man. That's how you deal with a bully.
That's exactly how you do it. You give them a little toast, you know, let them taste a little bit of blood, and they calm down real quick. That's for sure.
What's that old song that Hank Jr. song, Attitude Adjustment, or something like that?
That's right. need a little attitude adjustment. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the day.
I feel like I cut you
it's
off there.
just,
What were you going to say?
It's just scary, man.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is, man. I think it's just being a parent. That scares me the most. I'll take whatever the world throws at me. Fuck to me. We're Marine Corps vets, man. Ain't nothing fucking really scares me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that I don't know. I feel like our service we didn't do anything. It wasn't for the country. We served fucking politicians, and that's just not how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely something to be said for that, man. Yeah, there a lot
Well, we've gotten off subject here. We're talking about
You're going to take me down a real dark path right there, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We could get real dark on that. The way the world is, hell, they'd be at our doorsteps wanting to take us.
Yeah. So Pronghorn, man, you're down in Colorado. Are you down there on an over-the-counter tag, or is this like a draw tag you're on?
No, this is actually I'm on a buddy of mine's ranch, so I get landowner vouchers from him, and so what? Here we can get on that. We can get on that too, because this is why I do this. Like, I love bartering, and what I love most is I love having good friends and family. I got more friends that are family than my own family, if that makes sense. But it's like, you just do things for one another. It's like, you're able to provide this, and hey, man, I need a tag. You and I've put in for like 17 years for Idaho to get bighorn or moose. What? I'll never get it. I got points out the ass. I swear I'm flagged, man. I swear I'm flagged. But it's I'll never draw. So if I can provide something to one of my friends that owns ranches, and they can give me a landowner voucher, then I do it. I do it anytime I can, and it's a great hunt, and they usually just let me do what I want to do on the property to get the animal down, and by any legal means. I should say that for somebody, crosses what we say.
Somebody's going to proclaim you're down there hunting with RPGs to get an antelope down.
Oh hell yeah! It's
So you get this landowner voucher with a buddy of yours, and you guys you're just able to camp down there, huh? He says take this part of the ranch or whatever, you get a camp on it.
Yeah, so we're just down here pretty much just like you would in the backcountry, but it's on the sage desert,
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I know the country well.
My Oda and I, we're pretty close to. I'm not going to give out too many locations, but just because I don't, it's his land, I respect that, and I don't want him being bombarded. So, we're around the Steamboat area, so it's a beautiful country, beautiful country in its own way.
Yeah.
So there's tons of goat running around, lots of great mule deer, but I brought my oldest son Odin down with me and teaching him how to run the camera. We've got some really awesome footage on some things and some great pictures teaching him. So he's learning, and he's just slaughtering the jackrabbits. So
oh really? With what?
Killing them and coyotes whenever we can. So with his bow, with a 17, 22 250, whatever we have.
Yeah, man. I was just down. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just say we got the ranch to ourselves, so we're just, we're down here taking care of the predators, man.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. I think I was telling you right before we started recording there. I was just down in Utah for a funeral, right? And I stayed on my dad's ranch, and it's kind of the similar country that you think of when you think of like Steamboat, Colorado. Kind of that high sage desert, pinyon pine kind of country, and I have been
Yep.
I have been waylaying jackrabbits since I was like 8 down there. And so as part of, this traditional thing that's built in my my mind, in case my dad hears, no, I'm kidding. My dad don't care. I took one out with my 30-30, my right off the porch of his cabin. And I was just sitting there having coffee, and that jackrabbit came out, and I took it out, man. I couldn't help it. Like, it's over 30 years of tradition, right? So you got to carry that on.
Yeah, absolutely. You're like, people don't realize those things are still invasive, and they just will tear up a field, man.
Yeah.
Holes, break cattle legs, alfalfa. They will just sit there and just wipe out shit, man. They're just, and the term "you breed like a rabbit,"
that's them.
Yeah,
and they have
those things are on litter, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I swear they're on this like 7-year cycle, like they talk about. I heard that when I was younger, and we're like every 7 years, like one end of the 7 years, the population is absolutely out of control, and the other spectrum is there's only a few of them. You see them every once in a while, but they're always there. And like I have a crazy history of jackrabbit hunting. I even have a buddy that, so this is not an ethical thing. Like, I don't want any new hunters or youth hunters to listen to this, which they shouldn't, because I marked this episode explicit. But we would ride up in the pickups and shoot these things out of our pickup at nighttime. And my buddy shot my side view mirror off one time, and I had to pay for it because he didn't have any money. This was years and years and years, way past the statute of limitation or whatever. So years ago, but yeah, I had to come up with like
Mark safe.
I'm marked safe from any prosecution from what I did when I was in my early 20s. Okay. So anyway.
Yeah. Haven't the laws changed?
I think the law has changed. Nobody cared back then, but how long are you going to be there, man, and when does season open?
Season opens in the morning. So Odin and I, we've been down here scouting in between our little predator killing escapade. So we've set up a pretty solid game plan. I hope to get a pronghorn down. So.
You going to be in a blind?
I've seen several decent goats. So I'm set up to do a couple different things. I set up on some water holes, but man, we went through 2 storms. There's water everywhere. So
really?
Plan A is probably going to be the least effective. And then there's always spot and stock. I love stalking these things. So either or. They're pre-rutting right now. There's several of the bucks just out here just raking up the sage and just pissing all over the place, marking their territory. Man. So it's a good time. We're seeing a lot of goats, some decent bucks. I've located a couple that I wouldn't mind sinking that old bear razor into. So
I'm smelling what you're
we'll see what we can come up with.
Yeah, man. So that opens in the morning. So those of you listening, we're recording on the 14th, which is a Sunday evening, and so the 15th that opens. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous, man. I got a bunch of buddies in like southern Idaho that are down there. They've got their pronghorn tags and they're setting up on water holes like you're talking about. We don't have them up here in the north, so. I don't know. It's hard for me to venture down there because I spend so much time hunting elk that I like have to build up my my stash of goodwill with my wife so that I'm not taking too much time away from home. But she'd be cool with it though. I'm excited for you.
Oh, they're fun, man.
Yeah,
they're super fun, and I don't ever miss it. It's one of the we actually like pronghorn better than we do elk. So.
Are you talking about the meat?
We try to stay. Oh, the meat, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've heard a few people say that, but like antelope or pronghorn, however you want to say it, it gets a bad rap, man. What's the secret?
It gets Well, the secret is that people don't understand. It's like, you know how sometimes, well, a lot of folks, they kill an animal, deer, whitetail or muley, an elk. You know, an elk usually in the field, you gotta cape it out, you know, and you're starting to pack it out, right? So, and you know, the thing about with pronghorn is like immediately you have to get that cape off of that animal, and you get it quartered up. The secret to that is just that, to having good meat. The meat is really good, because it's so hot. You know, the way their capes are designed, I guess you should say, it holds in a lot of heat. It can go sour really quick. You know, just like the big game, elk, it go bone sour.
Not to mention it's August,
and it gets funky, and it will get funky quick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's hot, man. It's hot. You know, actually, it's only like 58 right here, right now. It feels really good after the storm, but that's the key, man. Is as soon as that animal is dispatched, that cape needs to be off of it ASAP. You can't ride around and, you know, even if it's field dressed, you know, the cape has to come off and get it quartered up, get that meat cooled down. Quick as possible, and I would almost guarantee you'll be like, man, if you come to our house sometime, just say, hey Shane, I want you to fix some pronghorn. So,
okay, well, I'll hold you to it, man, because I'm going to come down there and get that other bow, buy that other bow from you.
That's right.
And if
come down, bring the family, we'll cook.
if things get real crazy, I'm going to buy one of those bear recurves you got.
Heck yeah, man.
I'd love to. I think it'd be a ball.
We'll just start sticking shit. Everything will be pin cushions around here.
I pulled out one of my block targets the other day. I thought it was still good, but you know what I did? I left this block target out in the brush all winter long, and it sat like under 5-6 feet of snow, and I kind of forgot about that particular target. And so I pulled it out today, in fact, at like 2 hours before we started recording. I'm like, I'm going to shoot this. And I whack it with my bow. The arrows go right through it because it's so deteriorated. And I'm like, shit, man, those are expensive arrows to be blowing through it. But it's gone bad on me. So,
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Well, let's talk about let's talk about Carbon TV. Can you just reiterate for anybody that hasn't heard the episode we did a few months ago? Tell us a little bit about Carbon TV and your show that's on there.
Yeah, so everything's aired on Carbon TV. It's just a digital platform, for folks that are in the industry to it's for anybody really. If Julie feels that, and the team over there feels that it's, good quality stuff to put up on their program, then it can be streaming over there. So, in today's age is like, hey man, everybody's got a smart device and TV, whatever. So you can just download the app and just, watch some of your favorite shows and whatever.
Is the app itself is Carbon TV itself, is it like its own app kind of thing, or do you have to get Paramount Plus or Netflix? Obviously you could tell I'm not super up to snuff with this kind of stuff, but is there an app, or is there another platform you could stream it from kind of thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, so any Samsung TV, like Netflix, it comes with Netflix, the Roku package,
I got a TV
Prime, whatever.
That.
I mean, the only thing you do is just punch in where you say search to download the app. Just punch in, Carbon TV, you download the app, and you're streaming any of the 250 shows or whatever that's on there. You can be watching, watching some of us out there just doing what we do,
Is it all like bow hunting, or is it kind of a mix? Because they say, it's Carbon TV, so I think of carbon arrows.
Yeah, no, so it's not bow hunting, it's hunting anything. So it's, a combination of hunting, fishing, some outdoors. There's even some ranch life stuff on there. So it's a broad network, it's primarily for, just outdoor industry. Okay. As far as that's concerned.
And I hate to sound if I'm unfamiliar with that part of it, because I always try to seek out the hunting media stuff out there. And I've watched your stuff before, but I think I watched yours like through something on my phone, right? And so that's why I want, like,
Mm-hmm.
my girls love, me and my girls, we love sitting around watching hunting shows, and so that's why I'm curious. And that way, for the sake of the listeners, anybody's out there like me that doesn't know where to find this kind of stuff. And what's your show called again? Just Bone Maniacs?
Bone Maniacs.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Bone Maniacs. Yep. Bone Maniacs.
Bone Maniacs. And are you still working on that series you were talking about, where you are hunting like some native land or whatever with Native Americans kind of stuff? Because I really like that idea.
Yeah, on the documentary series, we're still working on that. We got episodes, and it's not just on the native land. A lot of them will be on the native, on the tribal lands and things like that. But it's mainly on just the history of Western hunts. Whether we're doing a hunt on some old homestead property that's been in the family for 100 years or so, or if we go into provincial lands to hunt, or if somebody has a hunt like the next hunt I leave here, pronghorn hunt. And then I go right into Oregon and hunt on the Cunningham Ranch on the Oregon Trail, which that'll be another one of the series of hunting elk on the Oregon Trail. So we'll be,
Sweet,
the history will go behind that and talk to the family that's owned the Cunningham Ranch. If anybody doesn't know, part of the Cunningham Ranch in Oregon, that's, you got Pendleton, Oregon, whereas, the Pendleton Mule Factory, Pendleton Whiskey, which is my favorite. So it's, that's their big sheep farmers. They are, the sheep ranch there has been around, for hundreds of years. So, just shy of 300,000 acres that they own. And so I'll be hunting the bull. I finally got a bull tag over there, and I've been hunting on that ranch for a long time. Finally an opportunity came up for us to do that and do a documentary on the farm and the ranch. So.
I didn't know that, man. That's a great spot. So that's not super far. Like, I'm in Pendleton a lot. Well, when I say a lot, I'm in Pendleton 3 or 4 times a year for my day job. And which, by the way, they have a great rodeo. However, it's usually in September, which is a bummer. And so, because I'm elk hunting in September, so between Pendleton,
all the good rodeos are.
I know, man. Like, there's a great one. There's a great one in Dillon, Montana, on like Labor Day weekend. There's a great rodeo. And then there's that one in Pendleton, which I'd love to go to. And my wife is always like, hey, maybe we should go down to Pendleton and stay a couple nights for the rodeo kind of thing, because we love rodeos. We really love rodeos.
Yeah.
We were in Cody about a month ago, Wyoming, and they just kicked the rodeo off, and this insane summer lightning storm came in, and they, about, I don't know, half an hour into the rodeo, they just got done with the bronc riding, and they shut us down, and everybody had to leave because the lightning. It was like, literally, you're watching these bronc riders getting bucked off, and as they're in midair, this huge thing of lightning, this big lightning strike goes right behind them. It's the coolest shit I've ever seen. Anyway, but I can't give up my September hunts for a rodeo. Sorry, they take a back seat. But that's pretty fantastic. So, like, it makes me consider, Shane, like, I'll give up part of my hunt to come down and be your pack mule, man. I'll just follow you around. I'll help you pack animals out. It'll be great.
I need a cameraman once in a while.
Hey, I might be able to do that. I made my very first video recently on my spring bear hunt. First time I've ever filmed, like, all the way through a hunt. And I put it on my YouTube channel.
Heck yeah, man. It's fun, man. It really is. And I don't know. I mean, freelance and a lot of these videographers, man, it's silly money, and even being on, a lot of these shows, let's just face it, I'm going to say it. Somebody needs to say it because, like we talked about the big egos before, it's like these big networks like The Pursuit and Sportsman and Outdoor Channel. I mean, like, the money is not in the industry. You know what I mean? It's like the guys that are out there that are on that. It's a lot of that is, especially I'll say the Pursuit. Now, if you're on the Outdoor Channel, then you do have partners that are just paying the foot in the bill for that. But The guys that's on the Pursuit channel, 90% of them are footing their own bill, man.
Yeah,
and that's
and
just
they have
not
to
worth
pay
it to me.
They
It's
have
like,
to pay
why?
it up front too. Like it's up front. Like we're talking sometimes $100,000 to $200,000 or whatever that price tag is. They have to pay it up front and then cross their fingers and pray that money comes back in advertising dollars. It's nuts.
Oh yeah, it's mine was never that much. It was right around the $50K deal, but it was that wasn't prime airtime either.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's like, but anyway, it's like no, we can. I've been around long enough that my network is strong. I don't need to go out there and get a new following for couch potatoes, So.
Yeah. I think, well, you're one of those guys, because there's two people that hunters watch. There's two types of people that hunters watch, I guess I should say. And those two types are like what you were just talking about. Some of the hunting shows where a guy could sit there and watch and question the legitimacy of what just happened, right? And I'm not going to point any fingers or anything, but a person can watch that and have a little bit of suspicion as to kind of how that went down. And then there are shows like the one that you put out that, well, I'll just say personality, like a personality like you. Like you're the kind that serious hunters would watch because it's real, it's authentic, it's like, and it's not a bunch of staged BS that makes us feel like we just kind of got played, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying that because I like you. I'm not saying that just because I like you. I do like you, but I really mean that. Like there's there's two ways to look at that. And if you're anything like me, you're always looking for ways to improve your elk hunting skills for September. And one of my favorite ways is the Elk Collective. It's an absolute game changer in self-education. This virtual elk hunting course has over 150 videos that cover everything from elk calling, strategy, tips, setup, gear, much, much more. There's a bunch of people involved. Some of the best elk hunters in the woods are involved with the Elk Collective, and they've come together to put together this virtual course to help you notch more tags in September. So check it out at theelkcollective.com and use promo code, all one word, The Western Huntsman, for $20 off the entire course. That makes the course only $69. It's a great deal, and I promise if you go through this course, you will go into the elk woods with a lot more confidence and a much better chance at notching a tag on the mighty Whopping. Hoffman Boots is the boot choice of the Western Huntsman podcast, and it has been for a very long time. I love my Hoffman in the Explorers, in the 6-inch or the 8-inch. They have all sorts of options for you to check out. Hoffman Boots is my go-to boot because I am a firm believer that when it comes to gear, the one piece of gear you don't want to skip on is boots. Get really good boots, and if you choose to do some Hoffman boots, you're going to find out why I highly recommend these hunting boots. Made by a multi-generational family of shoemakers, these boots are made right here in North Idaho, and I've got an excellent deal for you if you choose to go with Hoffman boots. Use promo code ALLCAPSLOCK-HUNTSMAN10 for 10% off. Get you some of these boots and find out why I love them. They're totally waterproof. They're going to give you great traction on the mountain. They're super comfortable. There's very little break-in period. Can't recommend Hoffman boots enough. Check it out, guys. Next on the list is Scree Gear, high-octane hunting attire without breaking the bank. You want to go into the field with good camo, right? You want camo that works, that'll keep you dry, that'll keep you comfortable. You want layering systems, the merino wool, the rain gear, all the things that make hunting a little bit easier and allows you to stay in the field a lot longer. The problem with most of it is it's super expensive. Not with Scree Gear. Scree Gear will give you all the high-end technical gear that you want without having to take out a second mortgage, and that's why I like it. And to make it even better, got a promo code, The Western Huntsman, all one word, and that will give you 15% off and free shipping. It's a heck of a deal, guys. I recommend checking out like their bundle packages. They have like the elk bundle or the whitetail bundle or the turkey bundle. All those bundles come with multiple pieces of gear, and you won't regret getting this gear. It's great stuff. Check out Scree at screegear.com. Oh, and you want to call in an elk? Use Phelps Game Calls. I've been using Phelps Game Calls since just about the beginning of Phelps Game Calls. It's a great company story, too. This company started in a little garage and is now one of the premier call companies on within the industry. I mean, you can't go wrong with Phelps Game Calls, whether it's turkey calls, predator calls, waterfowl, or especially I think the bread and butter is the elk calls. And I use the Maverick, I use the Pink, I use the Gray Amp. Check out the AMP series. If you're new to calling, I recommend getting a couple of different ones and trying them out. Find out which one works best for you. But I promise you, I'm not steering you wrong when it comes to Phelps Game Calls. It's a great company full of great people that make excellent products that actually work, and the proof is in the pudding. Call in a lot of elk, and you will too, if you trust me, by going to PhelpsGameCalls.com. I got a promo code for you, right? Huntsman10 for 10% off your Phelps Game Calls, and check them out. Phelps Game Calls. Get them close. Two last items. Check out the Reveal cell cams from Tacticam, whether it is for hunting or security. These are excellent cell cams that I have all over my property. To include, I put them on some job sites for some security, so people I know if they're stealing materials or whatever, I'm going to catch them. And another little promo code I like to throw out there is for Batum907 for anybody that is hunting bears, spring or fall, and you are allowed to bait. Don't forget to go to Batum907.com. Since made in Alaska, use promo code Huntsman10 for 10% off. The stuff works, and it works well. Let's get back to the show. Here we go. I think that is a good way to talk about this Carbon TV Awards you've been nominated for. Can you kind of explain that to us?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a shock to me, because it goes back to that. I mean, like, there's several guys out there that, I got 80 Pope and Young, I got 100. You know what? So do I. But I don't say it. I don't put them in the books because I don't fit that bill of bullshit. You know. They wouldn't like me anyway, so I was actually on the whole Pope and Young thing before, and I don't care if it pisses anybody off that's watching it. It's like I'll never be a member of Pope and Young ever again. But it's just one of those things where, the ego gets in the way again, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
But back to that, I was nominated for, the best big game. I don't know. I don't even feel like my best is out there yet.
Oh, really? So just so everybody knows, what I'm talking about is you got a letter or this thing that says, "Congratulations, it's our great pleasure to announce that you have been nominated for the 3rd Annual Carbon TV Awards. Voting will take place August 15th through the 29th, and it is at www.carbontv.com is where you can go on and vote. And one of the reasons I wanted to get you on, Shane, is because, again, I don't say this just because you and I are buddies, and I came down to your place and I was slightly disappointed because you didn't have any whiskey, but we got through it. We got through it together. And I bought a bow from you. But I thought, my thought was if I get you on the show, we can encourage some of the listeners to go out and vote for you to win this Carbon TV Award, because I feel like that would be hugely beneficial, because like you were just kind of explaining. I'll say it in layman terms. For those of you listening, Shane is not like a huge self-promoter. It's not an ego thing. So he's not going to be out there asking for people to go vote, where I am, because Shane's my friend, and I know that he's an authentic, legitimate hunter that we all can look up to. And he's as sour and as opinionated as I am, which is why I love him. And so I just thought maybe some of you guys listening would help Shane out and go and give him a vote at carbontv.com. Did I miss anything there, Shane, or anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you can vote every day, one vote a day, for the duration. And I appreciate that. It's like, because people do, like, man, you you might sound like an asshole. And I'm like, I can be. But, I'm also that guy that people don't
You
see.
are a Marine.
They don't see the... I was, and then, I strapped on a gun and, served and, to, make sure that our freedoms weren't lost, while these other candy asses laid around and complained about everything, but it's, but I don't ever bring that up, but what I do like to bring up is like, most people don't see the compassion side, or the, that I put into, teaching the kids, or if somebody has, information, that they need about a hunt, or just the willingness, I'm always there,
Yeah.
The inbox is always chiming, and I'll pick up the phone. I've had, and they're like, wow, I didn't even think you'd answer. I put on my pants just like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. And
if somebody needs some information,
I want to vouch for that, dude. I just want to vouch for that. Like, so you and I remember back when we got connected through Jim Hoffman from Hoffman Boots, because we're both big fans of Hoffman Boots, right? So that's
100%.
Yeah, and that's how we got connected. And Hoffman Boots is one of the show sponsors here, and they've been with you for a long time. Like I feel like that's the thing with Hoffman, man. Hoffman Boots. Once you're a Hoffman Boots fan, like there's no going any other direction. Like we are stone cold fans of Hoffman Boots, right? And we have been for a long time. So anyway.
Oh, it's family.
Exactly, and that's what it is. I love the story, man. They're a family of shoemakers that date back like ages, and so anyway. I'll get off that. I love the American story like that. But what it is.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean? It's an American story of hard work and sweat equity that goes into something that is tangible, and it grows, and I love that stuff. I geek out on that all the time. But with what I was saying with you, like. You were talking about, you can call you can, here's a dude that's on TV that is also, you have like 60,000 freaking followers on Instagram, which that's a big deal. I can't figure Instagram out to save my life. And all this other stuff going on.
Oh, they shadow banned me. Hey.
Did they shadow ban you, dude?
Man, I tell you.
Why? Because you got grumpy?
Oh, I used to have. What's that?
Did you get grumpy and you got shadow banned?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I'm not going to post a selfie with a clean broadhead or, a nice looking bow that's all shiny and hey, I can shoot a target at 100 yards. Great, I can kill an animal at 100 yards. There's a big difference, you know what I mean? So it's it's those things that you post on there. It's like hunting is real. It's in our DNA. We are hunters and gatherers, it's a turn of time of mankind. This is what we are. Our inner DNA is no different than that animal out there just surviving in the wild every day. And that's just how I look at it.
Yeah.
It's just that if you choose to be the person that wants to walk around New York City in your Gucci purse, then so be it. That's not my life. But what is my life is out here.
What the fuck is Gucci? So, Oh, I know what that's like. Those fancy purses, right? Yeah. I think I saw it on.
That's the only one I know.
Yeah. I saw it on like the Cowboy Way or some old movie, the Gucci stuff, and
I think that's where I saw it on a movie because I've never seen one in real life.
Yeah, right. Like I've heard that term many times. Like you watch a movie and they're like, oh, it's Gucci. Or some shit, and I never know if it's a shoe or a purse or a pair of edible panties. I don't know. What am I? I'm not in that world, but that's what I love about you, man. I love the fact when I get you on the show, you're never afraid to hold back. You're never afraid to hide who you are, regardless of what the outcome is. Because my show, man, I'll tell you, I get some flack, dude, because I am pretty point blank, and I wasn't always like this. When I first started my podcast, it was not like this. Like I always felt like I had to walk on eggshells so I don't offend anybody, and I'm at the point where I don't care, and that's what I love about you. And
No.
when you and I met in person, I think that is kind of wrapping up the point I was trying to make earlier. Is you are exactly, this is a dude that has over 60,000 followers on Instagram, and you've got a TV show, you're doing like this documentary, you like practically kill everything you pursue. You're a very lethal hunter, and you're lethal from the standpoint of one of the most difficult aspects, which is a traditional archery, a recurve bow, whatever you want to call it. But when I met you in person, it's like you and I, like I felt like I've known you for years. You know what I mean? You're just the same guy. You're not some asshole that portrays one thing and then is somebody different in real life. Like I felt welcome in your home, and I felt welcome to just kind of hang with you and have a good time. We talked about bows, we talked about taxidermy, we talked about all these things that you do. And I didn't feel out of place, even though like you are, if we're talking like in a dating standpoint, you'd be out of my league, right? Because you've been doing this a lot longer in the industry than I have been, and so I feel like that's important for listeners to understand, and for it's important for everybody to understand. Like there's fakes and phonies out there, and then there's fucking real people like you, and I love it, and that's what I attach to. I attach to authenticity, and that's what I get from you. So anyway, I don't mean to sound like I've got a bromance going on here, dude, but I'm proud to call you my friend.
No, it's nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's the truth, man, and I like hearing that, and I love hearing that from folks, and I won't change. I grew up poor, and I don't care if I die poor, but nothing. One thing about me is I'll never forget where I come from.
Yeah.
No matter how much money I ever get in this life, and I'll never live outside my bounds. I just will not.
Yeah.
It's not who I am, and I'll try to always encourage people not to do that, and I'll teach my kids the exact same way. I don't doubt it. Growing up, I seen the mistakes of my parents, and I'll be goddamn if I'll make them. So it's one of those type of deals that this is my life. I don't give a fuck who likes it or who doesn't. You know what I mean? So it's one of those deals. But having said that, is realism is a big part of my life, and you stay real.
Totally.
So much of this industry is not, because it's gotten worse over the years because every dipshit bimbo that's got their tits and the ass hang out, the marketing guys in the industry just flock over that and think, oh man, let's just have this hot chick tote my bow around.
Right? Like seriously.
Clothing, man.
Like they're holding the fucking bow release wrong even and shit. Like, well, who the fuck are you? That's not real. That's not real. Come on.
Nah, man. It's like, no, it's not.
It's so stupid. And people fucking follow them like crazy.
Anybody, but
it's dumb shit. It's dumb shit, dude.
Well, it is, man. If that's their gig, that's their gig. But it's like, it's what do you got? With a pot calling the kettle black?
Yeah.
Is that how that works? Or is that a different analogy? I don't know, man. Sense. But
makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. Oh man, you crack me up, man. I love it.
Wow, it's it's crazy because and when you talk about Instagram, man, at one time I had a shitload of followers, but I lose them because hey, it's called just like Trump said, you get rid of the fucking swamp or drain the swamp. So if you don't like how I do things, and I don't care if you follow me or not, I'm still going to sell bows. I'm going to promote everybody that I've been partners with for a long time, and I don't care if how's it like my veterinarian for the hounds? It's like we're not accepting new clients, so that's how I am, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Like,
Hey,
I'm content where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I love about it. I think that's why we get along, man. It's just there is this level of contentment we have. We are who we are. I had this dude that I posted, so I don't know if you saw, Shane, but like the congressional Democrats and 2 Republicans voted to pass this assault weapon ban of what they call assault weapons, right? Which is a total farce.
Yeah.
Well, I had some dude.
Poor choice of words.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on. You and I are Marines. We know what real assault weapons are. An AR-15 that is semi-automatic doesn't serve you well in real combat. Give me a break. Anyways.
No. I was an artillery engineer. You want to see some serious fucking assault
That's
weapons?
an assault
I
weapon.
can fucking send havoc.
That's an assault weapon, okay? Like, come on. Can you imagine elk hunting with a piece of artillery? Give me a break. So I posted this.
Yeah.
I had my friends up here. They have this golden retriever. He's like 5 years old, and he's wore out because I've got this. I've got my old timer, my lab retriever mix, Trevor. He's old as fuck, so he's laying around. And then my puppy, Wyatt, he's total gooberhead, and he just turned a year, and he's just all over the place. Anyways, so my friends come up, they bring their retriever, which Wyatt, my dog, is a retriever as well, and he gets so excited, he's just running around, they're playing, and all of a sudden my retriever, my puppy, Wyatt, starts humping the shit out of their dog Bentley. Their dog's name is Bentley. Right? He's just humping him like crazy because Bentley's laying there. And so I took a video of it, and I posted this thing where it showed Wyatt humping Bentley, and it said the United States Congress plus 2, or no, it said Congressional Democrats plus 2 Republicans that voted for this assault weapon ban. And then Bentley's just laying there taking it. And I posted, responsible gun owners on that. And I had some dude, he gets on my Instagram and starts coming at me about all these gun control methods that might work and that have never been tried and proven or anything, but he's just sure of it, right? And then he's posting some shit about veterans, like as if I don't understand what the legislative process is when it comes to like veteran benefits or whatever. And he just goes on and on and on and on. And I'm telling, this is a long way to tell the story, but it's important. So I kind of delete some of his comments because he started getting obnoxious, right? And I usually don't engage with this kind of stuff, but he was getting really obnoxious about topics that weren't even related to the post. And I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And so I deleted him. So then the dude goes on and writes a bad review for my podcast. He's like, Jim's not open to, varying opinions or whatever. And he writes all this shit. He gets real dramatic, And again, Shane, come on. You know as well as I do, with the way I have an opinion, you have your opinions. We're not afraid to share them. And so we're going to catch flack, right? But this dude writes this terrible fucking review on Apple iTunes about how I am not open to any kind of outside opinions or whatever, which is total BS, because I called him out on the Instagram post, but then I blocked him because he kept posting the same shit over. He sounded like a broken record. And so here's the funny part, Shane. Like, I deleted all his comments, and then he writes this bad review about my show, but the podcast, which I don't even know if he's listened to more than one episode. It's not even about my podcast. He just writes a bad review. And so I found him again on Facebook. And you know how you have to go in, you have to search or whatever. I found him, and I sent him a message. I'm like, hey, man, I didn't mean to, put a bad taste in your mouth, but you were wrong here and you were wrong here, and then you made a bad review about my show. So I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Why don't you come on my show and defend your position and tell me, like defend it. Like, my podcast, man, gets thousands of downloads. Like, you'll have a big platform to run your mouth about gun control and whatnot. So come on, challenge me. We'll debate. We'll whatever. And I was friendly about it. I was stern about my position, but I was also friendly. I'm like, you're more than welcome to come on. And he comes back and he's like, I see no reason to come on your show. And because you're not open to disposition or whatever he said, which is bullshit, man. Like, my show is all about debate. Like, we will debate all the time.
How are you not open when you just offered that fuckhead a chance
seriously
to come on and argue his? Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
he claims on his Instagram. He claims on his Instagram that he's an educator. Okay, if you're an educator, come on my show and educate me about your ideas on gun control, and we'll see who comes out with valid points, validity. Because what you were saying has no fucking validity. There's no proof. There's no anything that works. In fact, the things that you mentioned fail in every city like Chicago where it's been tried. So come on and talk to me about it. Let's talk about gun control. I don't know why I'm going down this tangent, dude. Like, I feel like I got totally derailed there. But
it's crazy, man.
I catch a lot of flack for my show, but sometimes I'll get some negative feedback that bothers me. And that one did because he acted like I wasn't willing to have the discussion, and I am willing. I throw this out there to everybody, Shane. Like, if you're one of those hostile vegans, or if you're anti-gun, or you're some woke liberal dipshit that wants to come on my show and debate me and talk to me, I will be reasonable, I will be friendly, but I will absolutely defend my principles. Because there's no point in having principles if you don't defend them. So come on and try me. Come on. And this, he gives me the middle finger. I actually sent him a message back. I'm like, dude, like, the way you responded to that, you're not welcome on my show anymore. Like, I'm not gonna deal with that kind of immaturity. So anyway, I don't know how I got on that tangent, man.
Well, that's one thing about with me, you just never know. I'm all over the place anyway, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we
go
both are.
south in a quick second.
Yeah.
Well, it's it's because people don't understand a lot of things. They want to be very opinionated about their beliefs, but take for instance the gun rights. They would be the like you just said, the sniffling little bitches. If shit went down and you or I had a gun, they'd be behind us in a fucking hurry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be like, save my ass. No, you know what I mean? So it's just one of them things. You know, it's like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
I just feel like a lot of people, they spend so much time becoming mind numb on like MSNBC that they have opinions, but they don't have the principles to back them up. Like, come on and talk to me about it. If you think you have some solution to prevent mass shootings in public that is going to be garnered through some kind of gun control legislation, like, come on and talk to me about it. Tell me about it. I want to hear it. Because the fact is that in the states and in the places where the least amount of gun restrictions are, that stuff happens less on a massive scale. And if you think that Europe is a model, look at the amount of murders and mass murder attempts that are made in those kind of places, and you think that banning assault rifles is going to save you? Like, it doesn't happen that way. That's not how it works. And so I just feel like they come at me and like try to regurgitate this stuff that they hear on Rachel Maddow and think that they have some kind of principled point, but they can't argue it. Like, they can't debate it.
They can't argue.
Yeah, it doesn't hold any water.
They never will. And a lot of people don't. I mean, Cain killed his brother with a rock. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's going to kill you, and if they have the blood in the eye to kill you, you're going to die. Okay, so that's
for sure.
That's the way it is. You know, so it doesn't matter what type of weapon is out there. You know, so I mean, I don't know. I firmly believe the way things are, like we just talked about earlier, is like the good days are gone; they're never coming back.
Mm-hmm.
The crisis within how people are raised and the situations of how parenting and I feel a lot of it comes from the garbage that that is taught.
Yeah.
At the schools. The crap that has gone on. The kids don't get to go out and be kids anymore. I mean, you look at some of these kids, I'm like, you are an absolute fucking freak show. The last freak show I watched was Star Trek, but that was good shit to watch. You just came off of one of those fucking galaxies, okay? Because you got fucking 7 shades of fucking shit in your hair, more fucking trophies all for your hanging off of your face and ears, and God knows what else. It's like, what the fuck? You're having a serious identity crisis. You know what I mean?
I have a major problem. I have a major problem with like the schools or the media or these Hollywood types or this pop culture BS where they want to sexualize our kids when they're not even 10 years old. And that's a problem, man. I mean that is a problem, and that's why there's so much disgruntled confusion out there as to what society even means, and these younger kids that they don't even understand what a free society is, and they want to act like socialism is like some new idea, as if it hasn't been tried. It's been tried, folks, and it's been tried multiple different times in multiple different ways. It fails every time. Anyway, it happens.
That's all right. Well, we can solve the world's problem. This one podcast.
We can, and I got one up on you, man. I've been drinking whiskey since we started recording, so I'm getting real spunky tonight. So that happens sometimes.
Well, hell, man, I sound like this all the time.
That's a good point. You don't even need the whiskey, man.
Whiskey usually makes me a lot more relaxed.
Not me, man. I get fired up on it. I get fired up, and I just want to like spout. You know what I mean? And I feel like.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, we've seen enough. You know what I mean, Jim?
Yeah.
We've seen enough.
We're over it, man. We're tired of it.
I'm over it.
I'm over it.
I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of I don't want people fucking with me anymore. I want people to just leave me alone. If you don't listen, if I don't like somebody, I won't. I don't engage with them. I don't talk to them. I stay away from them.
We don't force them to live our way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't force them to live our life, and that's the difference. That's the difference. Like, I am totally fine if you want to be a liberal. I think that is important. We should have 2 types of people out there, or 3 types, or 4 types, or whatever. I'm just talking politically, like a 2-party system. I think it's important to have disagreement and engagement in rational and mature debate. But the problem where we have gotten to, where I think you and I get so intolerant at that point, is we feel like we've been so untolerated for so long, we've built it up, and we're fucking sick of it. We're sick of it. We don't want to hear this woke bullshit. We don't want to hear about 17 different genders. We don't want to hear about how the government needs to tax us more and how they need to have more of a say in our life. Like, we've been quiet for a long time, and I'm just sick of it, man. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm just sick of it. You're sick of it. And leave us alone. We live out in the woods for a reason.
And there's a lot more people that's sick of it. They just haven't voiced their mouth yet.
Well, and that's what I feel bad for. Like, I feel like everybody needs a podcast so they can just vent and let other people hear them vent sometimes, because I think that there is that side of it, that human nature, where we feel like we never get heard. You know what I mean? And like, the only people that get heard are these extreme left-wing liberals that aren't even real American Democrats. These left-wing liberals have hijacked the Democrat Party to an extreme level, and they're the only ones that get heard, and these hostile vegans are the only ones that get heard, and reasonable people that, whether they're a little left-wing leaning or a little right-leaning, they never get heard. It's only the extremists that get heard, and I think that's what, I don't know, that's, for me, that's what I'm sick of.
Well, yeah, they never get heard because they're out there working, from daylight to dark, just being able to try to survive.
Exactly.
So they don't have time. When they come home, they kids and their family, and they do what they're supposed to, and then they go back and they routinely do it over and over and over again. So they don't get out there, and then all of a sudden, like, here we are. We're in, 2022, and here we are in a serious bad way.
Yeah, it is a bad way, man.
And it ain't good. It ain't good at all. I mean, we could wake up tomorrow and there'd be a cloud of ashes out there, So it just it's not good. It's definitely not good. And it's I've said this, and I said this on the documentary series, and and I'm not going to ever say anything that I don't think isn't factual. I mean, they want to tear down our history so there is no more facts. So you can't relate to facts of how the Constitution is or anything like that, or how the founding fathers wasn't founding fathers of the Constitution. It wasn't of this land, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that still a firm believer that it's just like I said. This land was fine and dandy and free until white man docked a boat on it and fucked it all up. So, that's the truth of the story. Big government came when they started eradicating the bison. So that's where they pushed the people out. So that's on another story. We get into that pretty deep.
No, that's
on the
exactly,
series, so.
Exactly. And so I want to talk about that for just real quick. But you made a super valid point, and it reminds me of this meme I saw where it says, history is not there for you to judge it one way or the other. It's there for you to understand it so that mistakes are never repeated. And that is where we get into a dilemma. Nobody understands the history of the world. Nobody understands it. Nobody pays attention to it. They think there's this unimportant side to the historical factor of what made us humans as what we are today. And so you can sit there and be like, oh, well, the Confederates in the Civil War, they were evil. Let's tear down all the statues of the South or whatever. But you don't understand what led to that. You don't understand what the mentality back then was. And as if some private from a farm serving in the 15th Alabama Regiment fighting in the Civil War was like a slave owner. That's not how that happened. That's not how that worked. So to dishonor the history on that, or to act like the history is so corrupt that you can't even understand it, you just want to erase it, that is wrong, and it's totally ignorant, because our future depends on our understanding of history. And so it drives, like you said it, the erasing of the history, it drives me bananas, man. I can't handle it. I can't even handle it. So, but here we are, man. I've kept you a long time. I apologize. I know you're at camp with your son. I wanna let you get back at focusing on killing a pronghorn. Can we touch on one more time? Tell everybody where we can go vote for this Carbon TV award, because I think that's important. I'd really like to push you over the top on that. So tell us a little bit more about that and how people can vote.
Yeah, man. Well, sure, if we didn't piss them all off on our...
I feel like what's funny about that, Shane, is like, so there's always going to be somebody that gets pissed when they listen to my podcast, right? Like, that's just always going to happen. And I've accepted that. And there, the show, like I told you, we get thousands of downloads. I am not naive enough to think that the thousands of downloads we get, that there is even one person out there that agrees with me 100% of the time. I listen to a ton of podcasts, and I don't ever agree with a host 100% of the time. So it's not about that. And I think that most of the listeners of this show are like super reasonable, and they understand that aspect of it. And I have a lot of respect for them, because I mean I wouldn't even do what I do if it weren't for them. So we might have pissed off a couple people, though. Man. That's totally fine.
It's gonna happen. I mean, that's just the way it works, right? But yeah.
So Carbon TV,
it's life.
Yeah, it is life, man. We just gotta accept it. Carbon TV Awards, though, man. Anything you want to add in terms of like how people vote or why they should vote for the Bone Maniacs show?
Well, I was grateful enough to be nominated into this, and I think, with Julie and her team over at Carbon TV, I think obviously they like having me on, per our conversations that we have, and even though I am rogue and real,
Yeah.
but it's and it's a lot like with the new series that's coming up, like the stuff that I put out there is just the everyday stuff that we do. And I'll have to say is like, I'm guilty of it a lot too, is like, a lot of my, I think with anybody that's success at doing things and tactics, the way you do things and the way you're able to take that animal, it's like, I get it all the time. It's like, I make it look simple. Well, there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of work that goes into doing what you do, what everybody does, and then they have success at it. So, it's important, I think, that people see more raw and real type of hunts and the things that it's beneficial. I take my family out on every adventure that we do as much as possible. So they get to experience it, firsthand all the time. And it's not that I don't share, the techniques and things like that. I'm getting better about that because some of my partners are like, man, you should probably start doing it. I was like, well, then I'll have, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's out there trying to pick up scraps, trying to take my job.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, though, it's kind of like anything else. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. I would love for people to vote because they feel like it's earned, and that's about how I look at things. If it was meant to be, it was meant to be. But
so yeah,
I'm not gonna. I appreciate everyone that does do it. And I appreciate you having me on to help promote it as well, Jim. Because there's something to be said for people like that. There's a lot to be said for people that are like us that, really, if it come down to it, everybody in Idaho waves. If you're broke down along the road, I will stop and pull over and ask if you need a lift or if you need a hand. That's how people in Idaho are.
Yep.
The real people get to see that within my community. I have, in our community in Kamiah, they support the shop. They support what I do. There's a lot of friendship, a lot of community gathering in with what we're doing with the youth and archery and things like that. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things that people don't see. That really are promoting not just the hunting industry, but it's I think it's just promoting self-worth. I guess that's how you would say it.
No, for sure, for sure.
This is how we live, and this is I think we still live in probably one of the better states that you could probably live in, as far as our freedoms are concerned. But that's I can see that quickly changing. Also, but we can get off on. Yeah, it's just one of those things that just goes back to this just being real and who you are, and then it doesn't matter, laying all egos aside within the hunting industry. No matter what you're doing or how you look at things, it's there's got to be unity, and it's got to start happening fast, or there's going to be a decline of all kinds of shit in this world. And it already has, and it may never.
Oh, for sure, man.
It may never come back,
So I'm just trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out, because I'm on right now, Shane. I'm on this carbon-tv.com. I'm trying to figure out, and what I'll do is I'll figure this out before I post this episode. But it's like it's given me all these options to vote for the Carbon Awards. And I like I'm having a hard time every time I try to scroll it. I think it's because I'm doing it on mobile. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I want to try to make this as super easy as possible, where you can get in the show notes and hit a link and then go vote for Shane, because I think this is important, guys. We have plenty of egos out there. We have plenty of all this stuff out there. If you guys listen to my show, because we are Western hunters that do it in a very legitimate and authentic way, and that is what Shane is. And I know Shane is super humble in how he kind of describes what his history and his past has been, but I will tell you that with all the personalities out there, Shane is super authentic. He's opinionated. He's a principled man, and that's what I think is missing throughout the entirety of our country. Is we are missing people that are principled and willing to fight for their principles. With the exception of, we have these very extreme people, like on the far left and even sometimes on the far right, where they're the only ones we hear of. But when it comes to just reasonable minds, people that actually think about this stuff, that live the kind of lives that you listening to this show also lead, that's what Shane defines. And so I think it'd be really cool if we all got together and voted for Shane for this Carbon TV award. And that was really one of the main purposes I wanted to get him back on the show, besides the fact that he's just a friend of mine that I think deserves it. And I genuinely mean that. Shane is authentic. He's a very good and a very effective hunter, and he's a great person to kind of represent what we call the hunting lifestyle, and we need more people like Shane. And so for him to win this award, I think he's put in just an absolute pile of work to get to this point. Let's take him to the next level, and go give him a vote. And I think you could vote like once a day, from August 15th through the 29th or 30th. I don't remember. But guys, if you don't mind, let's help Shane. Let's push him over the edge and try to get him there. And Shane, again, I know you're out there at camp with your son, so I wanna let you get back to it, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I appreciate just the honest conversation that we always have, dude.
You'll always get that from me, my friend.
Right. Well, we're going to talk soon. I need to know when you're back in town so I can come down and see you for that other bow. But good luck on the pronghorn hunt, and let's keep in touch, and we'll talk soon, brother. That
sounds good, man. I was just reading over what Autumn had sent me over, so the schedule below, and I can send this over to you here in a little bit. So there's a schedule that goes down, and I'll read it off real quick. It's like Monday is the initial kickoff of launch, which is tomorrow. Tuesday, you're going to have the best fishing. Wednesday is best new show. Thursday is best kids moment. And that's one thing about with Carbon TV. They love promoting kids, getting the kids into the outdoors. Friday is the best recipe. Saturday, best show open. Sunday is the funniest moment. And then we start off with the new Monday, best cinematography. Tuesday is best education conservation. Wednesday is best hostess. Thursday is the best podcast. Friday is the best aviation. And then Saturday is the best big game. And that's what my nomination is in for, would be the following Saturday of best big game. Sunday is the best small game, and Monday will be the last day to vote. So there's quite a series involved with that.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Obviously, we want, it's a big deal, and don't just vote for me. There's a lot of talented people out there that's putting their heart and soul into a lot of things too. So
no. Vote
reach
for Shane.
Out there, it's worthy. Well, you can vote as many people that you want.
Yeah.
But I will appreciate a nomination from you. That's for sure.
All right, brother. Well, that's awesome. And you know what, man? Like, congratulations on just getting to that point. Like, I mean, seriously, that's a major feat. And I can't. Oh, that's what I wanted to get out of you, man. When does the documentary on the tribal hunting kind of, thing that you've been doing, When is that going to be out?
So I'm working on it. I was going to take things over to Canada Wild TV. I still a lot of the things. There was a reason why we were going to go there is because, the provincial lands in Canada. I will not get a shot, so I won't be crossing the border anytime soon. So we're kind of mixing some things up, but let's just say let's look for something really exclusive, really explicit with Carbon TV.
All right, sweet man.
We're gonna come up with something here that I think is going to get people. They're going to get sucked in. If they don't get sucked in and want to learn about some good Western history and Western hunting, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, no, you know me. I'm a huge history buff, and I'm a huge history hunting buff. I'm a huge history war buff. All these things. So, I'm a sucker for that. So, I need your. While we're still recording, can you commit? When that's ready, you'll come on back on the Western Huntsman, your favorite podcast, I'm sure. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah.
And we could talk about it right before
you
we
let
release
me cuss, man.
I do like to cuss.
You don't ever tell me to watch my mouth.
No, dude, there is a certain satisfaction, and I don't know if it's a Marine thing or what, but there is a certain satisfaction I get out of cussing, and everybody knows it. There is, I have been flat smacked in my face by my grandma because I have a hard time watching my mouth, and so I'm good with it. It is who I am. So I'd love to get you back on for that.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. 100%. We're nailing down the details, going over how we want to do the whole marketing campaign and things like that, and get it in front of people. And it's not going to be just the run of the mill, just punching tags.
Yeah.
Throwing blood all over
There's
the ground
gonna
like
be,
I do now. It's a
It's like the people are really going to get something out of that. I feel like that, really deep down in the soul of a hunter, you're going to get something out of something like that has a historical factor tied to somebody that is as talented as you in the field. Kind of putting it all together. I think I really seriously, I can't wait for it, Shane. Can't wait for it.
We are. We're going to get some honest submissions from the elders and people that own ranches, and it's going to be something that you're gonna hear a lot of truth and a lot of authentic voices come out in this, and it all comes, like I say, man. History is worth learning, and I as well. I love history, always have. So it's one of those things that. I think people would really entertain the fact of watching it.
Yep, for sure, man. I can't wait for it. We'll get you back on the show, and we'll talk about it again. But in the meantime, go get you a pronghorn, man, and good luck to you and your son. And we'll talk soon, brother. I appreciate you coming on.
You bet. Thanks, Jim.
You made it all the way to the end. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. We sure appreciate your support. This is Jim Huntsman signing off and reminding you to check us out at Instagram at The Western Huntsman and on Facebook at The Western Huntsman. And you can also check out the website at thewesternhuntsman.com. Thanks again. We'll see you guys next time. Stay Western, and I'll see you on the mountain.